this whole issue. Many citizens like to be able to go to the forum because it's an opportunity that they can spend a little bit more time to talk about a particular concern or issue. At a council meeting, they are limited to 5 minutes during visitor presentation. You know, if they've got something they want to talk about more in depth, 5 minutes isn't enough time. And of course, that's during the city's council meeting. If they want to get up and speak on a particular issue that's on the agenda, they'll be lucky if they're given 3 minutes to be able to say their comments. And of course, if they want to either write a letter or make a phone call or send an email to their elected officials, well, of course they can always do that. But you see, when they do that, no other citizens know that there's other people who have similar concerns. The Citizens Forum allows citizens to hear that other citizens, just like them, have a similar concern in their neighborhood. Or maybe they have an idea and another citizen hears that, and then they can piggyback off of their idea to share that with the elected official, so that the elected official can either be in partnership with the citizens to create good solutions, or to either maybe even find out ways that they can do their job better. So one of the things is that if you don't have this forum like this for citizens to gather with their mayor or an elected official, you're keeping all the citizens separate and distinct from each other. None of them know that they all share similar concerns, so they're unable to work together, to bond together, to communicate together, any of those types of things. And I think that's a disservice to the citizens, because it really does give them an opportunity to really be a part of their government. One of the things that I think that I hear so often from citizens when they feel that the elected officials do not want to listen to them is that they become disenfranchised and disenchanted, and they go, well, why should I bother to be involved? Why should I bother to express what my thoughts are, my ideas are, because no one's listening anyway. Now, our film footage that we have is after our film clips that we had from the Design Review Board. And so we've got all the clips together on the same DVD, and we've done that to make it a little bit easier to follow through with the program. And so hopefully I'll have a thumbs up here that we have our DVD set and ready, but it's on the same DVD as that of the Design Review film clips that we just looked at a little while ago. So we'll have take a look here and see if we got a thumbs up on that. And okay, I can see that they're saying just 30 seconds more. Okay, that's very good. Now, one of the things that I find interesting is that when we get to these council discussions here, you'll notice there's a couple council members that are very firm that they don't want any cameras, that if we're going to be doing town hall meetings or we're going to limit how often we have these, they don't want any cameras. Well, my question is this. They say it's because citizens don't want to be filmed. Well, quite frankly, I have never found that to be the case, because if citizens have something of importance to say about their community, they want other citizens to hear it too. I think it's the elected officials who don't want to be filmed because somebody might get them talking out of both sides of their mouth. So I got the thumbs up, so let's take a look.
Staff, we've kind of now become part of it, and I thought it'd be important for you to get the thoughts of the staff, but this really is the council's forum. You hold it, you run the meetings, so from that we provide you this information, and we're looking for some direction from the council.
So I guess I'll start and just say that I had asked that we make some changes to the format that was being used, and those were really to rotate the venue for the meetings. And then I also thought that it would be good to give an opportunity for there to be some education and discussion about different activities in the city that took place, rather than just a whatever it is you feel like talking about today type of meeting. And so those were both things that I asked for and that we did. And I would tell you that I spent some time reflecting on the outcomes of that, and I don't believe that I've achieved the goals that I hoped that we would have. I know that the meeting that we had down in the South Leg, that there were some people that attended that were not the regular attendees at the meeting. And I guess we should be very clear that there is a group of about a dozen people that essentially are the people that come to these meetings. And not that that's in any way a bad thing, but it's just a dozen people, and it's the same dozen people. And quite frankly, these are people that actually do pay attention to what's going on in the city. And so they're really not the people that I would hope would come. We don't.
That I find very interesting is that, of course, that's Mayor Rossbach, Will Rossbach. And, of course, one of the citizens' forums in 2008, he decided that he wanted to attend. But he attended, and he brought his own camera, which is fine, because we welcomed that. The citizens reporter, they had their camera there. Will Rossbach, at that time, was a council member. He had his camera there. And, I'm not quite sure what he did with the film footage, but that doesn't matter because he was there. And at that meeting, I look back in my notes, it's interesting is that at that meeting, we had 26 citizens who attended that particular citizens forum. And, unfortunately, he's talking about, of course, there's like just 12 core people who attend all the time, and that's all there is. Well, that's not entirely true. And really, indeed, it could be and can be and has been much more than that. And so this seems to be a way to try to minimize the importance of having a citizens forum. What I find is that sometimes citizens come because they have an issue, and then they maybe don't come again for another month or two when another issue comes up. And certainly, not everybody is, people do come and go. So just because they didn't come this month doesn't mean that they might not come next month. And it's part of the outreach of our elected officials and certainly of our mayor that we would expect to have this kind of public outreach, not just simply say, well, you could call me, you could send me an email. You know what? I say, why don't you get out there in the public and let us have a meeting? Okay, let's continue on.
Need to be spending staff time trying to educate those people. They do pay attention and they know what's going on, and so we're probably hitting the wrong market. I think that the goals that I had of getting more people involved and using a more scheduled format for the meetings, I still think that those are valid, but we're not achieving them, in my opinion, at the moment. And so I have some other thoughts of things that we might do, but I thought I'd let others comment before I just launched into a big monologue. And Kathy, you have your button.
Based on how it's been going, I agree. I think it's too limited an audience to warrant this much staff time and even, if you will, attention of some type. I personally think monthly is too often. We're not attracting anyone.
Listening and having a forum for citizens to come and talk to their mayor or their elected officials once a month is too often. This woman is in her third term. Too often. Remember that. So, do you think as a citizen that if you wanted to be able to go to the Citizens Forum that once a month is too often? most citizens I talk to, they would like to have that option available, that if they want to go, they could, that it's available, that it's there if they choose. Let's continue on.
New. If people want a forum, I don't think they're getting it because they don't feel free to come. A lot of people who don't ordinarily come. I would suggest we might go to quarterly instead and rotate it for places like.
Now, my question I have is that if you indeed do switch to a quarterly program for the Citizens Forum, what would make that any more likely that people who are not feeling that they can come now or feel comfortable that they can come now would come then? How does changing it to be quarterly make people feel any more comfortable? I don't think so. I guess I disagree with that position. I think what would make people feel more comfortable is that if they had an invitation in the Maplewood Monthly that specifically said, you know, especially if it came from the mayor or perhaps the council as a whole, since they've decided that this is really the council's forum, that there be a message from them in the Maplewood Monthly that is welcoming, that says, we look forward to hearing your comments. We want to hear from you whether or not, if it is something about a pothole, some way we can do better, something that is welcoming and inviting. Perhaps that's what we need in the Maplewood Monthly to make it so that folks feel like they are welcome. Let's continue on.
Hall, Station 4, the library perhaps, Station 3, whatever, and make it more of a town meeting type setting where we talk about the city's latest accomplishments or projects or whatever, and then open it up to questions like.
So now you can see the change in the focus. Now the focus has been changed to what the city has done, so we can tell you what our accomplishments are. Well, they should be doing that very evidently in their council meetings, because if people are watching the council meetings, it should be very evident to citizens what is being accomplished. And so, you know, again, this has changed from the perspective of saying we want the citizens who have concerns, questions, ideas, solutions to just come and talk to the mayor on an informal basis too. We're going to have a structured program. We're going to tell you what the topic is. You can ask questions about that at the end, but we're going to manage the message. We're going to control the information that we are going to give that evening. I don't know. It's a different type of program. Perhaps, as was suggested by some citizens at the Citizens Forum that was held on October 2nd, that indeed, maybe what should be done is that they should retain the Citizens Forum as it stands today. Could even rename it the Mayor's Forum or the Council's Forum or whatever they want to name it, but be able to have it as an opportunity, open-ended, for citizens to come, to express themselves, to talk about what they want to talk about. And then the council, if they think that it's necessary, then they can have their quarterly programs where they can manage their message and that they can control exactly what the dialogue's going to be. Because these are really two different programs, and I think that if they're going to be having these programs, there's certainly room for both programs up at the City of Maplewood. Let's continue on.
Meetings are done. Sometimes too often is too often, and people are not able to come anyway. So if you give them better information, possibly not quite as often, you may get an actually better attendance.
Okay, and I'll just throw in a quick comment on that, that when I did have the meeting down in the South Leg, you know, I still have a list of people that I sent notifications for back when I did the South Leg meetings. And so for that meeting, I had those that I have an email address for.